Imagine a nation at the height of its power. The empire stretches across the globe. Its navy rules the seas. Its currency is the gold standard of the world. And yet, within a few short years, this same nation teeters on the edge of financial ruin. How does the richest empire on earth go broke? It's not war in the traditional sense. It's not a sudden invasion. It's not even famine or plague. Instead, what bankrupted Britain was something quieter, deeper, and in many ways more dangerous. A perfect storm of debt, mismanagement, arrogance, and a global shift in power. This dominance gave Britain a sense of invincibility. But as history teaches us, the moment a nation believes it's untouchable is the moment the cracks begin to show. Because beneath the surface, Britain's wealth was built on debt, on colonial extraction, and on an assumption that the empire would last forever. That assumption would be tested in the most brutal way possible. The origins of decline, seeds of bankruptcy. So when did the rot begin? Some historians argue it started as early as the Boer War, 1899 to 1902. On paper, Britain won. But the war revealed shocking weaknesses. It was costly, both financially and militarily, and exposed how much Britain depended on borrowed money to maintain its empire. But the true turning point came in World War I. If World War I bent Britain's finances, World War II broke them completely. By 1939, Britain was already strained. But once again, war demanded massive spending. And once again, Britain turned to the United States for help. Enter the Lend-Lease Act of 1941. At first glance, it looked generous. The U.S. supplied Britain with weapons, food, and raw materials. But the cost was staggering. Britain essentially pawned its empire to pay for survival. Colonial assets were sold off. Sterling balances, debts to colonies that had supplied Britain during the war, ballooned. By 1945, Britain owed more than £21 billion in today's money. And here's the shocking detail. Even after victory in 1945, Britain was essentially bankrupt. Winston Churchill admitted privately that Britain had lost the empire, but not yet found a role. The pound-sterling crisis of 1947 proved the point. Unable to maintain its value, Britain was forced to beg for an emergency loan from the US and Canada, the largest loan in British history at the time. This was the moment the world realized Britain was no longer the global banker. It was the global borrower. The fallout, the end of empire, and the rise of America. The financial collapse after World War II wasn't just about money. It reshaped the global order. The fall of the pound. The pound sterling, once the unquestioned global reserve currency, steadily lost ground. By the late 1940s, the US dollar had taken its place. This wasn't just symbolic, it meant that America, not Britain, now set the rules of global finance. Decolonization accelerates. Britain could no longer afford to maintain its empire. One by one, colonies gained independence. India in 1947, Ghana in 1957, Nigeria in 1960, and so on. Each loss weakened Britain's economic base further. 3 takeaways. So, what do we learn from the story of Britain's bankruptcy? 1. Prestige is expensive and dangerous. Nations that cling to past glory often spend beyond their means to maintain illusions of power. Britain did it with the gold standard. Today, others do it with military bases, debt-fueled growth, or currency manipulation. 2. Debt is the silent empire killer. It doesn't take an invasion to bring down a superpower. Just compound interest. 3. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. The story of Britain is a warning. Even the strongest nations can collapse when they mistake reputation for reality. Closing thought. A warning for the future. Britain's bankruptcy wasn't sudden. It was slow, almost invisible, until it was too late. Nations rarely recognize when decline has set in. They keep spending, keep borrowing, keep telling themselves they are invincible, until the collapse is undeniable. So the real question is, which nation today is walking Britain's path? And will we recognize it before history repeats itself? Call to action. If you found this story eye-opening, don't just let it fade away. Share it, discuss it, and question the patterns you see in today's world. Because history isn't just something in the past. It's a mirror of our present and a map of our possible future. And if you want more deep dives into the hidden stories behind the rise and fall of nations, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay curious. Because the forces that bankrupted Britain may just be waiting for their next victim. 68919.